By the turn of the century, the word had spread even as far as the Armenian provinces of the Ottoman Empire that there was work to be found at Hood Rubber. The new Ottoman constitution was implemented by the Young Turk regime in 1908. At this time, another wave of Armenians made its way to America.
And there's hope by the Armenians that things have changed, a new day. Throughout the Armenian world, there are parades and celebrations.
However, a year later, the massacres of 30 to 40,000 Armenians, beginning at Adana and leading to the Armenian Genocide of 1915, precipitated the largest movement ever of Armenians to America.
They had deep roots in Armenia, their families, their culture, and so forth. So they always said at the top of their minds, we have to return, we're going to return. And yet, as they become more acculturated to America, as they get jobs, as they have families, as they own property, and they see the deterioration of conditions in Turkey, they're settling, and even against their best intentions, there's no way that they're going to return. So the die, even before the First World War and the terrible genocide, the die is cast.
By 1916, there were approximately 800 Armenians living in Watertown. According to the Rubber Trade Directory of 1916, trademark names of various Hood rubber shoe models included the Adana, Aleppo, Beirut, Erzurum, Kayseri, Merzina, and Smyrna, apparently in tribute to the homeland of its Armenian workers, or to attract sales from their countrymen.
These two brothers started out, and apparently they must have gotten along for a while, but I think their temperaments and their strengths didn't complement each other in some ways, and tensions arose, and there was a falling out. And Arthur left the company. I think if you might say my grandfather Frederick kicked him out. I don't know, but I do know that there was a great falling out between the two brothers.
Adding tires to its product line, the Hood Rubber Company expanded production along with the Watertown arsenal to accommodate the military buildup during World War I. By the end of the war, the factory was employing 10,000 workers. Homes were purchased and land was taken for additions to the plant. The company had a research laboratory, believed to be the first of its kind in the nation. The Boston Elevated Street Railway even built a trolley loop at Mount Auburn Street and Bigelow Ave to accommodate workers commuting from Harvard Square in Cambridge. Hood Rubber owned and operated the Abraham Lincoln House on Arlington Street, where immigrant workers aspiring for citizenship learned English. There was a clinic there providing minor surgery and dental care. It was a progressive company and had learned from the infamous Bread and Roses strike of 1912 in Lawrence, Massachusetts, that workers' rights needed to be acknowledged, and as a result, the few strikes that took place there were only partially effective. During the early 1920s, the peak of Armenian immigration, Hood employed about 500 Armenian workers, and by the end of the decade, there would be 3,500 Armenians living in Watertown, almost 10% of the town's population. One of them, Vostanig Adoyan, more commonly known as the artist Arshil Gorky, worked at the factory for a few months until he was fired for practicing his art on the roof of the factory and drawing on the soles of shoes.
I was 12 years old when my parents took me to Hosmer School to learn how to speak English. And then, 16 years old, I got into Hood Rubber. I was a cementer. I was cementing the shoes. I was happy because I was making $18, $20 and no money coming in, and and the rent is so much. When I was single, I used to give it to my mother. 25 cents she gave me to spend. She'd say, Yavrum, she'd say, what can I do? She said, we have to make dolma, we gotta make this, we gotta get our good. We didn't even have any electricity when I came in Watertown. But I remember milkman coming with a horse and buggy. Iceman, they horse and buggy. There's no automobiles, nobody had a car. Well, you know, Eddie, we used to go from Hosmer School home, from home to Hosmer School, back and forth, from factory to factory. You didn't even take a walk to see it. They wouldn't even let you go out, your family. They say, oh, no, mirtar, you know. You just stay. That's 80 years ago. 80 years ago I was there.